Hi everyone, Thao here. So if you didn't know, I'm from Canada, and the smartphone market here is essentially Apple and Samsung. Like everyone I know has one or the other. For the past few weeks, I've been testing out the X60 Pro Plus, a phone from a brand called Vivo. Yeah, just keep it real. I knew very little about the phone, so I did some research. Turns out, they do okay for themselves, consistently ranking in the top 6 in market share for the past few years, with a lot of those sales coming in India and China. The X line is their flagship, featuring top-end specs at mid-range prices. Vivo also seems to go pretty big when it comes to their marketing strategy, working with someone like Steph Curry. Alright, so the hardware is solid, featuring a Snapdragon 888 paired with 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, and a 4200 milliamp hour battery that can charge up to a whopping 55 watts with the included charger. Yes, you get a charger in the box, which is something Apple and Samsung have started to skimp on these days. As you can see, yeah, they sent me the wrong charger. You'll also get a pair of wired headphones, and since there's no headphone jack, they give you a dongle. 4200 milliamp hour isn't the largest battery, but should still get you through a full day, unless you're doing a lot of heavy stuff like gaming. There's a single bottom firing speaker, which sounds fine, but it just doesn't compare to the stereo speakers that most premium phones have these days. A couple of other things to note: there's no wireless charging and no expandable storage. It does offer dual SIM support though. On the back, you've got this blue vegan leather material, which is kind of unique, right? It's not the grippiest material either, but it's a nice change of pace from glass. The fact that it doesn't come with an IP rating means you should probably keep this away from water. On the front, the screen maxes out at 1080p and can refresh up to 120 Hz. It's also HDR10 Plus certified. It is curved on either side. The front kind of reminds me of the display from the Samsung Galaxy S9 days. Using it outdoors, you can tell it doesn't get as bright as something like the Galaxy S21 Ultra, but it's still more than bright enough. There's also a pre-installed screen protector, which is always nice to see. To unlock, there's an optical fingerprint scanner built into the screen. It works really well. I don't find myself having to think about it, which is how it should be. I also like that they give you some options to customize the animation. Out the box, it's running Android 11 with Vivo's FunTouch OS skin on top. I was really looking forward to trying Origin OS, which is their new iOS-inspired skin, but apparently that's only available in China. So FunTouch OS reminds me a lot of the Pixel launcher with a sprinkle of some Vivo features. They actually kept it relatively clean, not changing too much. Jovi Home is one of the things that's built in, but you can easily swap it out for the Google feed if you prefer that. I didn't love the large amount of pre-installed apps. Thankfully, most of them can be uninstalled. You are stuck with a handful of Vivo apps though. The slogan for this phone is photography redefined. With a tagline like that, the cameras are clearly a big part of the phone's appeal. They've partnered up with Zeiss for the optics, and they want you to know it, with the Zeiss branding stamped right there. Even with that though, it's actually one of the more elegant camera bumps I've seen. Alright, after taking a look at some of the pictures, I gotta give them credit. This thing takes some really nice shots, and is probably my favorite part of this phone. When it nails it, photos are bright and punchy with very good detail, and I like the different portrait mode styles they have built in, including the Zeiss-inspired one. With harsh lighting, pics tend to be a little overexposed for my taste. You've got a 2x plus 5x optical zoom, and if you wanted to, you can zoom all the way up to 60 times. Selfies look good. They give you tons of beauty mode options, but of course, you can turn those off completely. This camera does really well in low light, probably one of the better ones I've tested. It almost feels like it has an auto night mode, and you don't have to even use the dedicated night mode setting. Besides the Zeiss partnership, Vivo also has their unique gimbal stabilization system. This is built into the ultra-wide lens. If you look closely, you can see it working its magic. Even with this though, I haven't been that impressed with the overall stabilization. 4K 60 is really jumpy. Drop it down to 4K 30 and things get a lot better. Video recording definitely isn't as impressive as the photos. It crushes the shadows and you're losing quite a bit of detail in the highlights. That's not to say footage looks bad. It's actually decent. It's just not quite as good as the flagship competition. Selfie video maxes out at 1080p, which is probably fine for a lot of people, but I would have loved to see 4K, especially for those vloggers out there. Some sort of stabilization would have been nice too. So yeah, that's a brief summary of my experience with the Vivo X60 Pro Plus. Overall, the pictures were definitely the highlight. I'm very impressed by them. The single bottom firing speaker and lack of an IP rating are probably the phone's biggest drawbacks. Global pricing isn't official, but direct conversion from pricing in China has this sitting at just under $900. At that price, I'd want both those features. Vivo also has the cheaper X60 Pro, which is a slightly toned down version of the X60 Pro Plus. So depending on your needs, this might be more attractive thanks to its lower price tag. Anyways, what did you think of the pictures? Were you blown away? Not impressed? Let me know in the comments. As usual, thank you all so much for watching. Until the next one, I'm out of here.